I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube. Jules Sains, that is my buddy Patrick McCray. We are here to review the movie Stargate starring Kurt Russell. James Spader is in this bad boy. This movie was it was released. Let's see, but get this right. It was release date October 28th, 1994. Uh, Budget was 55 million. Box office was $196.6 million. So it made its money back. Directed by Roland Emmerich, written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. Uh, Pat, Patrick, when did you first see this, buddy?
I saw this probably a few weeks after it came out. Um,
Cool.
that's back when you could see a movie a few weeks after it came out, and it didn't disappear completely to go to streaming. I remember being really sort of fascinated with the look and the concept of the movie because, of course, it's supposed to touch on a lot of ancient things in our own culture, and I remember I encountered the toy line first
Yeah.
before I even knew it was a movie. This is possible to go forever and not know a thing's going to be a movie because there's no internet. And I was a little disappointed that it was a movie. I'll tell you why. I was in a Toys R Us and poisoning someone. I don't know. That's what you do. And I knew who they were. So I was in a Toys R Us and I saw the toys
Right.
and they didn't have the actors' faces on the packaging, you know,
Right.
and so I guess they maybe they don't now, but so I had no idea it was a movie, and I got really excited because I thought, good, an independent toy line that exists as its own thing in its own universe, like at the time GI Joe or Masters of the Universe or something like that.
Yeah.
And because it was so thoroughly realized, I mean, man, they toyed the heck out of this. They
Yeah.
really did a good job, and designing the toys. And I think this was probably a movie that was designed to be toyetic, in
Yeah.
that it was designed so that you could build a bunch of toys off it.
Yeah.
Anywho, I I I was mildly disappointed when I found out it was a movie also. But then I thought, okay, cool. And I saw it, and there have been a few movies that have come out, and it felt like they were inevitable. It just
Yeah.
felt like all of these pieces were out there, and they came together, and sometimes almost too easily. Stargate was a movie like that. It just felt like, why didn't someone put all these pieces together earlier and
Yeah.
make this? It did an original, felt like it was destined to happen. Men in Black felt the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. This movie, see, when I first heard about it, it was already out of theaters, and I thought when someone said Stargate at first, I said that sounds like a video game, and they said no, it's a movie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I actually I didn't see it in theaters. I rented it on VHS, and
Okay.
I was completely blown away. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Um,
Was this from your mom's store?
no, because when I had rented it, we were out of state at the time. We weren't in
Okay.
we we were still living in Pennsylvania, but we were on vacation. So, and think we were in Michigan, um,
Okay.
vacationing, and we had rented a cabin, and my mom's like, "Do you guys want to rent some movies?" Because my mom's a movie nerd, obviously. I said, "Yeah, I want to rent some movies," and I kept hearing about Stargate. And I'm thinking that's the movie I want to rent. So they had it, and I rented it. Um, though it is a movie my mom did carry at her store, so
Sure. Sure. You couldn't be a self-respecting video store and not have it.
that's right. That's right. so
Now, turn around. No, please go on.
now I really enjoyed because I enjoyed this movie so much that I was so excited when they announced the series. And when they said, well, Richard Dean Anderson's going to start, I said, holy shit, that's a big deal.
And he was going to have a rotund bald man as his boss again.
That's right.
Think about it. It has all the magic.
Yeah. Yep. Well, the guy who played General Hammond, he was actually in MacGyver in a couple episodes. So
Really?
yeah, he was. There's that episode where MacGyver like uses a cement truck to like defuse a bomb or something, and he's the cement truck driver. Um, the guy who played General Hammond. He also plays a villain in an episode. He plays a poacher. Because he
Like
tells
an
the other guy,
Agnes?
no, a hunting poacher.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he tells the one guy, he goes, look, because MacGyver leaves them their radiator cap or something that they need for their car, and he said, look, this guy's giving us a way out of here, let's leave them alone, they don't want to know who we are. And the other guy's like, you either do what I say or I'll kill you. So
Was that his management style on Stargate SG-1?
no, 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 but that would have been funny. His management
Well,
actually,
unless you're working for him.
yeah, his management style was very, very different than what you see here in the movie, actually, a bit. But there is some similarity. Like they give, for example, for those who have never seen Stargate, the movie or the series and the series SG-1, in the movie, Kurt Russell's Jack O'Neill gets a secret assignment that nobody else is told about. Which is to detonate a nuclear bomb to destroy the Stargate on the other side. Which nobody knew about. Um, None of the team knew about it. Dr. Daniel Jackson didn't know about it. And again, because the Air Force has taken over the operations of the Stargate. Because Dr. Daniel Jackson figured out how to operate the damn thing on Earth's end. But once they got to the other planet, they had to find other symbols to get back. He thought they would be at the temple that it was at when they got there or wherever. In the
That they always think
series,
it's at the temple. It's never at the temple. I could have told him that
yeah,
at the very beginning.
in the series, General Hammond, who is in charge of SG-1, he's kind of miffed at O'Neill a bit, Richard Dean Anderson's Jack O'Neill, because they talk about how, hey, did you lie on your mission report? Because they talk about the mission from the movie. Because some aliens arrived on Earth through the Stargate and shot up some people, and that's what caused them to go back through the Stargate to where Daniel Jackson was. And he grills O'Neill for this. He goes, "Did you lie? Is Daniel Jackson really dead?" Because that's what he put in his mission report. You don't hear this in the movie, obviously, but that's how the series picks up. Because Richard Dean Anderson is out on his out on his porch. He's looking up at the sky, and he tells this one young Air Force guy. He goes, you wanna get where the action's gonna be? He goes, join NASA. Which is like, okay, but
They didn't have Space Force then.
no, they did not. They did not.
The
Richard
most
Dean Anderson.
noble.
Yeah, Richard Dean Anderson was somewhat psychic. No, I'm kidding. But
He may be.
I do love the slight differences between the movie and the series. The series to me is a compliment to the movie in every way.
Tell me about that because I've never seen the series.
Okay, the series, like I said, it starts off with you see these aliens that are wearing this snake head armor in this movie. Well, you get some of those aliens arriving on Earth, and they shoot up the Air Force base that you do see in this movie. They use the same sort of set design, which is cool to see. And so once they do that, General Hammond he's upset, and the government's upset because they feel, well, why are these here? Because they were told in the mission report that the Stargate was blown up. basically you hear Jack O'Neill lied on his mission report, and he did. He admitted to it. He goes, Daniel Jackson's alive. He admits to it, and they send a box of tissues in to where Daniel Jackson is, and he sends it back with a
I
note:
thought he had a
"Send more."
woman with him.
With send more. He does have a woman with him.
Why does he
At
need the tissue? Continue. Sorry, low hanging fruit. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. But so they go through and they talk to Daniel. They go through to the Stargate, and Dr. Daniel Jackson talks to them. And again, it's not played by the same actor, obviously. It's played by Michael Shanks, who does a really great job of playing Dr. Daniel Jackson.
Okay.
And he says, "Look, nobody came through this gate. No, it had to be another gate somewhere else." Because they did theorize there were other gates out there in the universe.
So it's not on Earth.
No, that's the thing. Like the gate, the
Stargates. Yeah. Okay. Different.
Stargate,
I
right,
got it. Yeah. Sure.
right,
Of course. Yeah,
right.
duh.
The gate that you see on Earth, that we see on Earth in the movie and in the movies, but the one in the movie on Earth and the one in the series on Earth. Okay, there are other Stargates in the universe. It's how they,
Sure.
for those who have never watched it, it's how the people from Earth get from one point to another. They use the Stargate a lot because we don't have the technology to fly through space like the aliens do.
But
And
we
because
will eventually.
we we will in this
Don't we
series,
get Stargate Universe and Stargate Atlantis and
yes, and that's the thing
Stargate Deep
too.
Space Nine?
uh, in the series we do eventually get that, not in the movie, mind you. And I uh who's the guy who played Teal'c? I'm gonna kick myself in the series, but um very good actor. I can't think of it, but Amanda Tappan played Samantha Carter. There was no Samantha Carter in the movie, but you get the point.
Sure.
So that was the the 4-person team for Jack O'Neill's team in the Stargate series here. And by the spoiler alert, Kowalski, who was in the movie, is killed in the series. Uh, for those who don't
Early
know,
on, or is it like in the pilot, or does he survive for a few seasons?
I think he's killed in the. I'm trying to remember. I think he's killed in the end of the first
Yeah.
episode or the second. I forgot because he gets a. They put like a snake. They put a snake in him, like a gold, and it takes possession of him and stuff.
Did they just think he would find it funny, or
No, no, no,
was it a
no.
practical joke?
It's just something that happens in the plot of
To every man at some point wakes up with a snake in him.
yeah. Now that doesn't happen in the movie, obviously, but the movie is, you know, I love how you get these ancient language that Daniel Jackson has to figure out once they get to the other side of the Stargate. I love how it dematerializes the body, literally. And by the way, they do this in the series too, that it dematerializes, but they pretty much are very accurate about what went on in the movie. I know the writers of SG1 have always said, well, ours isn't necessarily a sequel to the movie. But I will say this, and if they ever listen to this, I will give my compliments them, because for it not being a sequel to this movie, it sure as hell feels like it.
Yeah.
But because funny story is, Kurt Russell actually visited the set of the series, and Richard Dean Anderson was talking about this in an interview he had did, and he said, yeah, he loved it. He loved the series. He thought it was a fun
That's
idea.
great. How
Um,
nice. How
yeah,
classy.
yeah, really cool. But I really enjoyed Kurt Russell's performance. I mean, he's a great actor, obviously. And him and James Spader's chemistry is really good in this. I love Spader's a really great actor, because the next movie I would see Spader in would be Wolf of Jack Nicholson. Um,
Yeah, he was in that.
yes, yes, he was. Um, but What did you think of the chemistry between Russell and Spader here?
It you know, it was terrific.
Yeah,
Um, the only challenging part is that Kurt Russell has such a good sense of humor
yeah,
that it's tough to see him as sort of this very, 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 dry business like figure at the
yeah,
beginning because he's so sympathetic.
yeah,
He's so good at being sympathetic, and that was the only stretch. He was an actor who could have played either part and
yeah.
would have been just as good in either part.
I think where they really get your attention with him is that opening scene with where they introduce his character, and you hear that his son accidentally killed himself.
I
It
know
is
that really
such
gets me.
and because before you hear that, you see the look on Russell's face. It's distant. It's he's mourning in every way. Like he is mourning, and I love the wife's reaction to it too. She's smoking a cigarette, and she's like, "Look, if you can get him to talk to you, fine." Like, like you
Yeah,
could tell there's a problem, and when you hear that his son accidentally shot himself, it's like heartbreaking. So you already feel for this guy, like holy
yeah,
shit. But I do love how Kurt Russell is very. At first, he's cold. Um, he's letting them know, hey, everything's now in charge of the Air Force is in charge of everything now. Nothing, everything you see here is now classified. But where I love the chemistry of Spader and Russell so much, I don't think they get enough credit for really somewhat developing it toward that sequence in the compound where he's Spader's character is learning the symbols and stuff and how to dial the gate. And it's even Kurt Russell's character who says, show him what we're talking about."
yeah.
And they show the Stargate. That's where Dr. Daniel Jackson sees the Stargate for the first time. Um, I think it's such a cool reveal too in the movie. Um,
The movie has a lot of surprises. It does a good job at keeping secrets and topping itself.
oh yeah. And the biggest, I think the best one too is once they get to the other planet, you're like, okay, because keep in mind, for those who have never seen this movie, Daniel Jackson started off because he's a doctor at a debate where he's saying, look, the Egyptians did not build the pyramids. That's his theory. He feels that maybe it was aliens. Um, and once he gets to the other planet, he realizes, yeah, he was right, but he doesn't quite yet how real how right he is, because when he says Ra the sun god, well, no, there was this alien who was really sick who traveled the stars and found a way to live a longer life, and that guy is Ra. That's who Ra is in this movie, and
Well,
he's
I
your
mean, he can't be raw if he's been around that long. He had to have been cooked somewhat. Yeah.
and he's your villain in this movie, by the way. Um, what did you think of the alien villain here in this movie?
Uh, Classic. I mean, they set up a set of classic heroes, and
Yes,
I think they came up with a very apt force to deal with him. What did you think?
I thought it was very interesting because the person playing the alien is a very young looking kid, almost a young looking teenager, almost. Does not
That
look
gave it
like
that
an.
very Egyptian quality, though.
Yes, yes, and it. So you get the sense that hey, the aliens probably took people from Earth to steal or take. I thought he was very menacing. He was the perfect heel for this story. Everything, when I say everything in this movie clicked, it really did.
It does.
The action, you have a not just a believable antagonist, but a very fearful one. But I think what makes that also work is the people who are ready to rebel against him on this world, because they've obviously been living with this for years and years and years and years and years of him coming back and raiding them and just enslaving them. Because that's another part of this movie is you also have people who are being enslaved by a person that is posing as God almost, or a godlike substance, if you will, or entity. But it's not. He's not God. He just has technology that he can use. Because he talks about in this that if you have the credits, or sorry, the closed caption on, and he's talking to Daniel Jackson, he says, "I see the humans have finally learned to harness the atom." Because that's what the bomb is, you know.
Sure.
He's talking about that, and you wanted me to remind you of the escape. Well, when they capture Jack O'Neill and his crew and Daniel Jackson, because Daniel Jackson is actually shot in this, he's almost killed, but Raw puts him in this sarcophagus tomb and it heals his wounds. And he's doing this so he can have Daniel Jackson kill all his friends. Just and that's how sinister this villain is. That's one of the creepiest things about this. It's like this dude is sinister as hell. And they give Daniel Jackson a staff, a laser staff, and it opens up at the end and it'll shoot people. Well, the rebels found the guns in the desert that the military men were carrying, that Jack O'Neill was carrying and stuff. And so they gathered them up so they could shoot at the aliens to help them fight them. And so Jackson sees this, that they have the guns. So he turns and starts shooting at the guards, and the villagers, if you will, rebel and start firing and stuff. And you have this massive later on you have this massive battle go on that's really cool, and it's really well done. I give Roland Emmerich a lot of credit because he shoots this beautiful movie, even with all the chaos that goes on inside of it, because it's not crazy chaos, it's fun chaos.
Very much so. It was a good setup, I think, for Independence Day.
Yes. Yeah. I know a lot of people might say, well, do you prefer Independence Day? No, I prefer this movie.
Now, tell me why.
I think it's just from a setup standpoint, it's so much different than what you're usually used to seeing. Because to me, when I saw Independence Day, that's a great movie, don't get me wrong. But I think this movie has so much more weight to it than what Independence Day. Because I feel by the end of Independence Day, it's like it gets a little comical a bit. And I don't mind comedy. Yeah. But I feel this movie
what is comical about Randy Quaid saying "up yours, you alien assholes" as he flies the ship into the rectum of a spaceship? What's humorous about that? I take that very seriously, and I think you should too.
Everything, and I love Randy Quaid.
He's just perfect, and you got to admit, didn't it feel good to see Randy Quaid getting the last word?
Yes, it does. I'll tell you what I enjoyed too is Randy Quaid. Not just him, but his brother Dennis both played Doc Holliday once. So
now was one of them in the Long Riders? When? Well, Dennis played it in what, Tombstone, right?
No, he played it in Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt Earp. I didn't see any of those. I need to. I didn't see them.
If I find Wyatt Earp, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But for Randy played Doc Holliday in a television movie called Purgatory.
Okay.
Where these outlaws were sort of sent to literal purgatory to wait their trial to go to hell. And Randy Quaid is playing Doc Holliday. And there's a guy playing Billy the Kid. There's a guy playing Wild Bill Hickok. And these outlaws come into town and they're like, well, and they're noticing, well, nobody's armed. Well, this kid realizes, because he's familiar with all the dime novels and stuff. He realizes who all these people are. He says, you're gonna tell me you're not Doc Holliday? And he goes, "You're lucky I ain't armed, kid," because he said, "Draw" to him, and he turned and he was reaching for a gun that he didn't have.
Oh, wow.
It's a really fun TV movie that was made. It was really, really good. But yeah, I thought both Quaid brothers did really well for playing Doc Holliday. Um, so so, but this movie here, I enjoy how Roland Emmerich filmed it. I enjoy the characters he created, him and Devlin. Um, really just amazing characters, because they would go on to create it. This launched a franchise in every way.
Oh, it's huge.
I
In its
mean,
time, I think we forget, in its time, that was a massive television franchise
yep.
and looked like it was going to be the future of science fiction on television.
Yeah, at the time, Stargate was becoming on a level with Star Trek in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. Um, and again, Star Trek is still going today, and it was still going then because Deep Space Nine was on, and too.
So as franchises go, what happened? Why did it, not up to this point at least achieve what it looked like it was headed towards?
I would say, in my opinion, though I did enjoy Stargate Universe, and I do think it was well written. I think they jumped the rails sort of a little bit with Atlantis by the end, because it felt like they were repeating. I don't think they were, but it felt like, as an audience member, they were repeating storylines they had already done. I'm not saying they did.
What
It
was
just
the
felt
what was the premise of Stargate Atlantis?
the premise of Stargate Atlantis was going across the galaxy to find, and they had found the lost city of Atlantis. The city of Atlantis was on Earth, but it flew from Earth across the galaxy to
That'll happen.
to this planet, which is a great concept that they had. Atlantis did have a great concept, and it had great characters. It had great actors in it too. Um, eh, I just think by the end, it's like you have these characters who have amnesia multiple times, and it's like, okay, you're sort of repeating some of the tropes of the original series, which it's like you should sort of have some of your own tropes though here too, because I feel like I've often said, okay, SG1's a compliment to the movie, but SG1 had a lot of its own tropes too. It
Okay.
had a romantic relationship between Carter and O'Neill, um, in an alternate timeline. Um, Daniel Jackson was killed multiple times in the series. It's
Do they ever
it's
make a joke out of it after a while?
well, the producers did. They said they talked. The writers talked about this. They said Daniel Jackson became their Kenny. like,
Okay, yeah. You killed
like,
Daniel Jackson.
yeah, it's like, which
You
was
bastard.
funny. Um,
It is funny.
it's like that's hilarious when you hear the writers talk about it. It's like, yeah, because the reason for that was Michael Shanks, when SG1 left HBO and Sci-Fi picked it up, when the Sci-Fi Channel picked it up, he didn't want to go with them. He said, "You know what? When
Oh.
so they kept when he came back, they kept killing him off." Just
Just to mess with him?
I don't know, but it's funny that they
I
did
mean,
this.
I wonder if it had to do with his contract negotiation.
I don't know.
Because
It's
that'll
funny.
happen.
Yeah. But the way they did it on the show is hilarious. It's like they kept killing Daniel Jackson off. They bringing him back somehow. It's like that's funny. Um, but yeah, it was a really good series. Um, I do feel, and I love Ben Broder, who replaced Richard Dean Anderson, but I do think adding. I feel they should have went with a little somebody else. I love Ben Broder, great actor. Just he was fresh off Farscape. and it's like I get that's what you're looking for, somebody who's a star, and he was. But I sort of wish they would have went another direction
Now, do
there.
you say they had to go with someone who was a star because the show had star in the title?
No, I
Oh,
think
I'm just being a jackass.
well, initially when they were talking to Richard Dean Anderson, it's funny they talk about they made this mistake in the in the way they put his name on there. They the way they put his name on there, they made it too big, and they put it came out Hard Dean Anders. Well, Richard Dean Anderson's got such a funny bone. He laughed about this. He started laughing, and he said, "Just make it fit." Just
Yeah, I use a smaller font or something. You know, I mean,
he
you know,
was,
he had three names in case one of them broke down. He still had two.
but they were telling this story. And he laughs about it to this day, which is it's like that's a great thing to see that you see this star who has a sense of humor about it.
Now, this
Um,
is this is the thing. You know, this is I am assuming this is true. You know why he went by Richard Dean Anderson? This is a
no,
Hollywood thing. It's because of the $6 Million Man. Did you ever see $6 Million Man?
only a couple episodes.
That was a great show. Well, Steve Austin's boss, Oscar Goldman, was played by a fine actor named Richard Anderson.
Ah,
And with SAG rules and all of that, you gotta have a new middle initial or something like that. There was already a Michael Fox in
okay,
Hollywood. So
right.
you got Michael J. Fox.
Fox. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the first host of the Newlywed Game was Adolf Marty Hitler, and he had to have Marty in there because there was already an Adolf Hitler with the Screen
Hitler.
Actors Guild, which is where he's hiding out. I'm just kidding. Adolf Marty Hitler, host of the Newlywed Game. Can you imagine? I don't want people to get mistaken.
Oh my god.
I wish my parents had thought of that. You know,
Oh my gosh.
Thanksgiving was pitchfork hot for me for that one.
What'd you think of some of the cool special effects we get in this, Patrick?
They were breathtaking. And this was that last era of motion capture special effects where you actually had physical models,
Yeah.
under light. They were making this at the same time that we were going into the second season of Babylon 5, and Babylon 5 was the first show to use all CGI. So I mean, I was pretty aware of what it took to do that, and they still in Hollywood were not.
Yeah.
So I think that's a real achievement. That's a real feather in its cap.
Yeah. I really it just everything looks so good in this movie. Even years later, like now.
It looks great.
This movie looks better now than what you see now in CGI to me. Um
Oh yeah, and I'm convinced it has to do with just the way real light plays off of real objects.
yeah.
I really am. You just can't top that.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like you get some really cool set designs in this movie that hey, set design works if you do it right. And this movie's proof of that. Um great set design.
It makes the ancient look futuristic, and that's
Yeah.
a tough thing to pull off.
Yes, it does. I mean, really, the fact that they have when they go to the alien planet and you see these rundown people who are basically being enslaved, being forced to mineralize mine stuff and give it to the aliens. It's like it, it's it's heartbreaking. Though it's funny how it's introduced because Daniel Jackson gets pulled by that big animal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I think Kowalski says, "Let go," and it's like he can't let go. His foot's caught.
We'll pull him in the TV series is General Hammond.
What's that?
The animal that will pull him in the TV series is General Hammond. He's a big man. That's all.
Yeah. 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 Who was the one guy I'm thinking of? Who's I think it's Bo Bridges eventually does appear on Jeff Bridges' brother appears on Stargate SG-1. Where'd Patrick go? Well, when he comes back, I'll add him. But for those who don't know, Bo Bridges eventually does um, appear on Stargate SG-1. Um, you have so many. So does Louis Gossett Jr. He also appears on Stargate SG-1. Um, a lot of different actors come and go. That is just really, really cool. You also Dom DeLuise makes an appearance in Stargate SG-1 in the series. Um, with this movie, obviously you don't get a lot of guest stars, but you do get very, very good action. I really love the set designs of this movie. Um, I love, and am I a sucker for desert porn? Yes, yes, I'm a sucker for desert porn. Um, I love how they shoot the desert in this movie. It is beautiful. Roland Emmerich really knew how to work his camera, and really he was able to tell a story, yes, with his camera, but with his characters as well. Um, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm so excited to get out of bed. I stepped on her face. Are we on?
Yes, we're.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course, Joel. I concur completely. I think you assassinated my phone. It started making these weird static sounds and then just died.
I apologize to your phone.
That's okay. It can't hear you right now because it's sleeping on the job. Oh, Apple, how far you've fallen from the
Yes.
tree of productivity.
I was talking a little bit about the series a little more too. That Dom DeLuise makes a cameo appearance in the series. Not just a cameo appearance, but he does appear as a character. I believe his son is actually one of the directors of the series.
Was
Directs
that
some.
which son was it? It wasn't the son that was on. Uh, oh, Monjourno. No, no, the son who was on Sequest.
I'm not sure. Hold on.
I think both his. He had two sons on Sequest. It was a Deloise festival. It was.
See, let's uh, let's see here. Make sure I get this right. No, it wasn't Michael.
Or good at asking these questions. Oops, sorry.
It was Peter DeLuise.
Okay, yeah, Peter was on that. Cool.
And, so yeah, I believe it was Peter DeLuise who was in Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, the Deloise boys.
Yeah, yeah. Which he actually makes some cameo. Peter does make some cameo appearance in SG-1, and then he does play a side character for a couple episodes. But yeah, I do love how this movie ends with Colonel O'Neill telling Daniel Jackson, "I'll see you around," because I always felt we were going to get a follow up to this movie. And then when we got the series, that's what made me really excited.
Jewel, what happened? You just said, "I'll see you." Everything went black. You came in. You said,
What? Can you hear me? What's going on? Oh my gosh. Hello? Uh-oh. I think Patrick froze. Or I froze. Somebody froze. Um, Patrick, if you can hear me, what I was saying was at the end of the movie, um, Jack O'Neill, who's played by Kurt Russell, uh, looks at Daniel Jackson and says, "I'll be seeing you around." Um, and I always felt that we were going to get a follow up to this movie, a sequel. We never did, but we got a really, really great series instead, which is fun. Um, really, really cool. um, yeah, just great show, great movie. Um, and Patrick, we're having some technical difficulties, I think, which happens. I apologize in advance. It's nobody's fault. It's just something that happens. But you should check out this movie. And you should check out the series as well. I think you will really, really enjoy both. Um, the one thing I will say about the movie most is where it has a bit of an upper hand, it leaves that question of, um, is there going to be more? Is there going to be more? Is there going to be a follow up? Um, let's see here. That's okay. So I'm sorry, I'm reading page. I'm sorry, I was reading a message from Patrick. I'll try to give him a couple more minutes. I'll try to give him like 5 minutes. Um, with the series, I think they do a really good job of leaving you with that question of, is there going to be more? Because Daniel Jackson has to literally save, Colonel Jack O'Neill's butt. The rebels help. Um, the way Raw is introduced before you see him is they're talking about this they talk about the traveler coming to, you know not basically not die. He's dying. He's looking for a new body. And basically he's this serpent. He's this little snake, that a parasite that goes into people. So that's how he's able to live. His body's dying. He just needs to switch bodies, and he does. And that's where you get Raw. That's where Raw enters the movie, and it's really good. I love how Roland Emmerich uses the perfect element of sci-fi and a bit of horror too, because you have the staff snakeheads killing, not killing, but knocking the soldiers unconscious, and capturing them, capturing Jack O'Neill. Uh, they do initially kill Daniel Jackson, but they also heal him too, because they want him to kill Colonel Jack O'Neill. Um, I do want to thank my buddy Patrick McCray for joining me on this. This was a lot of fun to talk about. I love the hell out of this movie, and I love the series. I give it a 10. I'm sure Patrick does too. It's a perfect movie. Link to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound is going to be in the description box. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night, and take care.